Welcome to Tibble's Apprentice. I am lucky enough to be joined by Just Cardboard again. Hello, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
I'm glad that you took the time to be able to join me today. We were talking on Instagram or through Instagram,
Yeah.
and something you said caught my attention, and I thought, well, there's a topic for us to talk about, and that was you said you were excited. And so I'm going to latch onto that because the first thing I thought about is I have not been excited for anything since um, 40K. I
Yeah.
think that was kind of where I lost my luster or a portion of it for Magic. And it's not because I didn't like the product or anything, but it had the effect of just being overwhelmed by so much cardboard that I felt I was going to drown.
Yeah.
And consequently, since then, I've had a hard time getting excited about anything Magic related. Does that sound bad?
I I think it doesn't sound bad. To me it sounds kind of like the rest of the community. Everybody's kind of feeling that. I think I might be the outlier there where I still am getting excited. But I kind of have my own method to deal with the product fatigue and the just amount of different things they're coming out with.
Right, right. And I
Um,
think just really quick, I was going to say that that's where I'd like to focus our attention
yeah,
more than anything. Instead of being disparaging and talking things down, I do think that there's a mindset that you can approach Magic with that would be helpful. So I think
yeah,
that's one of the ways to do it. We can't change what Wizards of the Coast is doing, but we can change our own mindset, and I think that's something that's important to do.
yeah. I completely agree with that. And with all of what Wizards is doing, or really Hasbro, they're
Hasbro, sure.
Hasbro Wizards. They're one and the same. But with everything they're pumping out, it's tiring. It's tiring keeping up with everything. It's tiring trying to remember when pre-releases are, and let alone when sets are releasing. I almost missed the Edge pre-release because I couldn't figure out when it was at first. And yes, I know Google's a thing, but it was just one of those things where I would be on Instagram and I saw people pre-releasing it a week before the set came out, and I'm like, did I
How is
mess
that
up?
possible?
I'm like, did the set release already? Was I supposed to be at pre-release tonight? And it's getting a lot for everybody. I think
Yeah.
it's not just people who are in the content creation world or even the selling cards world or anything, just players in general. Just everybody's getting that fatigue.
And I
um
think one of the ways to look at it is look at it more like you're going to a smorgasbord or a buffet and you get the things that you want.
yeah.
Don't try to load your plate up with everything. So find those things you want to engage with. Heard it
I
before.
Yeah, I agree with that. The biggest thing that I do, and I know some people have asked me why I don't post spoilers or anything. I don't pay attention to spoilers. I don't care about spoilers. I
Nope.
understand they're important. I will look at them if somebody sends them to me. Like I have a bunch of people who are like, "Yo, this card's going to be great in your deck. Check this out." And I'll look at them. But I don't get hyped for anything coming out anymore. I try to reserve everything. And what I found is now when I'm going to pre-release or I'm getting to play with people who are just getting into Magic and they're playing with these newer cards, is it's bringing me back to when I first started playing Commander, and I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute. What does that card do?" I'm like, "I haven't seen that before." And of course it just released and I probably opened it, but I didn't read it.
Sure.
But this person is pulling it, and I'm not doing as in-depth research for sets as I used to.
Right.
And I can't because I would feel like uh, it's just too much. So I've That's one of the things I've decided to do is not mess with spoilers, and I've done that since I started my page. But now it's become even more apparent where I don't pay attention to spoilers. The only spoilers I care about are secret layers, and I don't really care about those anymore. But I there's certain ones I want to get, and I do end up picking those up. But
Right.
it is getting to the point where it's kind of getting crazy. And if Wizards doesn't fix some of their product issues, they're printing under printing on purpose. I should say, sorry, I shouldn't say on purpose. Maybe it's not on purpose. Sorry, maybe it's not on purpose, but the artificial scarcity of things is getting kind of on my nerves. We shouldn't be expected to pay $800 for a booster box for a standard set.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
I understand it is a collector, but like that just it's taking away a little bit of the fun of Magic, and I feel like just print enough, get
Yeah. I get
MSRP. But that's another tangent we don't need to get
it.
on recently is that we are getting new players, and it's cool to look at it this way is we can play our decks the way they are set up because a lot of people haven't seen a lot of the cards in our decks because they're older cards.
Absolutely.
And then it's helping the newer people learn about other sets besides what's just getting out. And I think that's kind of helping a little bit too with the product fatigue, but that's my thoughts.
Well, here's another thought that I had, and it is the fact that the best way to take advantage of the overprinting is wait 2 weeks and then get the staples that you need.
Yep.
Upgrade the decks that you have now. Maybe don't go out chasing the next pre-release, but think about what individual cards, and I'm not saying this just because I have a store, but I'm saying get the cards that you need or that are finally going down because they have been overprinted. They've been printed to oblivion. If we're focused on and concentrating on playing, and that's what's important to us in the game, then too much printing can actually be a good thing if you choose to look at it that way.
It's a double-edged sword because yes, prices are coming down because things are getting reprinted. And some people are like, well, that's awful. My collection's now not worth anything. I'm sorry. And I know you have a store and I'm planning on selling cards. So it hurts me to say this too, but it's the reality. This is a card game. It is a
Exactly.
game. If people are looking at it as financial investors, I'm sorry. You're not, chances are you're going to lose.
Yeah.
And you can still sell cards and be successful, but it's the person behind the selling cards. You're really selling yourself, not the cards. Like that's sales 101. It doesn't matter what you're selling.
Right.
People buy you, not the product. So
Absolutely.
it's one of those things where, yeah, sure, the prices might be coming down, but I'd rather flip $105 cards than one $50 card
Yeah.
or one $500 card. It's a lot easier to do, and it is making Magic more affordable.
Yeah.
And
I think it does another thing too, and this kind of bleeds into the universes beyond and
mhm,
where they're going with that. I know there's a lot of negativity out there about that, but I've come around to the idea that even if it does draw people in on a surface level just to get into the game, there are going to be those that are going to stick around.
yep,
And like you said, there's a whole worlds of cards to be introduced to that if you liked this from Final Fantasy, well, maybe we need to go back as far as alliances or we need to go
yeah,
back as far as homelands or something of that
yeah.
nature to find, here's a card that I can introduce you to that does something similar or a effect you never had thought of or never thought of because you're new to the game.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I I have always loved Universes Beyond since the first one. The only current commander decks I'm missing, precons I'm missing, are the Final Fantasy ones, and I am going to get them eventually. I just have to. It makes no
Yeah.
sense for me to have all of them, but that one. Um, and I like it because, like you said, it brings different people to the game, and I have well, technically four friends, but one of them doesn't play as much anymore, and the only cards they have are the Lord of the Rings precons.
Mm.
Now they've slowly started to upgrade and like actually learn the game, but for since Lord of the Rings came out, those decks have basically been precons since
Hmm.
they came out. and
Nice.
that's all they wanted to play. They didn't care about any of the other cards. And then, of course, I've introduced them to other decks and everything, just playing any of mine because they're like, they don't care. They're like, whatever.
Yeah, just give
Um,
me something and I'll go.
yeah. And they've also used my decks, and I like the Universes Beyond because it is bringing new people into Magic, and without bringing new people into Magic, the game won't continue. And we want the
Exactly.
game to continue.
We do.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to be selfish. I want to play Magic until I literally can't lift cards anymore. And even then, it's going to be digital, like mind chip implants, and I'm going to be able to play in my head. So it doesn't matter. I won't remember
Exactly.
what I'm doing, but I'll be playing in my head. And I think people lose the sight of the fact that we need people to keep the game going. And yes, I understand they're putting all their eggs in one basket with Commander essentially. But from what I understand, standards starting to get a little better from what I've been hearing.
Right.
And I mean the legacy formats, legacy, modern, that stuff, I don't follow enough, so I'm not sure about that. But I
Well,
know at least standard sounds better.
right. And here's the other thing, and this leads into my next point, which is um, concentrating on the non-rotation formats.
Yeah.
Things like Pauper or Cube
Yep.
are other places that you can put your effort and energy and not be overwhelmed by everything that's being printed. Maybe this doesn't go in your cube. Maybe you do need these things for your cube. But
Yep.
again, going back to what we said before, with the printing of more cards, you're going to have more options. You're going to have more things to slot into those formats that aren't rotating.
Yeah.
And you can enjoy the card game that way. Even
Yep.
Pauper is another way to
Oh
play.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know I still have two Pauper decks that I built back when Pauper first rolled on the scene pre-COVID, believe it or
Mm-hmm.
not. I have Pauper Elf Ball. Um, I just have elves.
You
I
can't go
had to
wrong with
build
that.
it. And then I was trying to get, and I know it never took off, but I tried my damnedest. I built Pauper Defenders.
Oh my gosh.
I was just trying to fireball people out.
Right.
Like, get mana with all of my defenders. It was just a little too slow to any of the aggro decks just spanked it.
Right.
Um, but it was a lot of fun, and the deck still hangs with a lot of like I when I got into Magic, we just played kitchen table Magic,
Right.
and
Right.
and we just played 60 card. So that Pauper 60 card defender deck actually held up against some like non-Pauper decks. So it's
Nice.
in my case it's a win. But no, I love Pauper. I don't play it because there's not a big Pauper scene up here.
Right.
But like Commander, you can play just about anything in Commander, and I'm sorry I don't care about the ban list, so you can play those too. Like, it's for me, Commander is a fan made format, and it's always going to stay a fan made format. And the the ban list is just a suggestion.
That's right.
Unless you're playing at a card shop and with randoms, then I respect it.
Sure.
But I have people who we play what we want. We don't care.
That's
It's Commander. We're supposed to have fun.
that's it. Absolutely. For sure. For sure. Um, Another thing that that I had down here to talk about was the fact that while we can have discussions like this
Hmm.
and try to be a little bit positive about it, it's also there's no point in just being negative about it,
Yeah.
because unless you're giving feedback someplace where it counts,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. You vote with your wallet is the thing to do.
Yeah.
Or if you have an opportunity to talk to somebody at Wizards, if you're given a survey along the way, those are the times and the places to maybe most strenuously voice your concerns, I think.
Yes. I know I've been checking my email more frequently recently because I have gotten a couple surveys over the past like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I've started filling them out just to give my honest feedback.
Yeah.
And one of the things is if the I just every other month there's a set coming out. Like, give us for one, I'm all for going back to block sets. Let's go
Yes.
back to block sets, make a set last a year, then on top of that, then you put in the universes beyond stuff, you know.
Mhm.
That way we can actually have magic, like regular. Like I'm sorry, I'm not I like Final Fantasy was cool. The prices turned me off from it. And then but yeah, no, we just I want to go back to blocks. That's
Well,
just me.
for example, too, I mean, we have uh, Edge of Eternities, and that's out for a week, and now Spider-Man. I mean, not a week
But see,
exactly.
it wasn't even a week.
It was
Pre-release day, we were getting spoilers for Spider-Man. Like the night before, I remember looking, and luckily it was just the intro decks. But I'm looking at these spoilers, and I go, if this is Spider-Man, I'm not getting any of this set. I'm like, these don't make any sense to me. I'm like, huh?
yeah,
And then of course it was revealed that those were welcome decks, welcome
yeah,
decks.
the Welcome Decks, yeah,
And I was like, "Oh, okay. Now let's see some real Spider-Man cards." But we didn't even get done pre-release
yeah,
and there were already spoilers, and that's why again I said I skip spoilers. And yeah, sure, I'll see them. I know we're getting Spider Pig.
yeah.
Um
So,
and honestly, the only ones that I've read is Miles Morales because that is my favorite Spider-Man.
huh?
So when I saw him, I checked him out, and I don't even remember what he does. Why? Because I'm not storing it in the vault because I want to be able to open the card, read it, and be like, he does what? I
Until I'm holding it in my hand,
It
it doesn't
doesn't
matter. It
exist.
doesn't exist. That's exactly right. It just doesn't exist.
100%. 100%. Now, there are ways to play with these cards that are spoiled. I know there's multiple ways, like Cockatrice, like I showed you.
Yep,
You can
absolutely.
play and test out these new cards. That's fine and dandy. I don't want to play against them, and I'm not going to.
Yeah,
But that's just me.
yeah,
I want to wait until the set comes out, and maybe the week before pre-release, I try to cram as much info into my head because that was always fun. That was the fun of pre-release, sitting up all week watching the pre-release. I don't know if you've ever seen that, the
yeah,
loading ready run,
yeah, yeah.
and then going to pre-release. But with the amount of spoilers we're getting and how quick we're getting them, it's hard to not see them.
Right, right. You're going to stumble over them. You're going to trip over them
Yep.
on the way to something else. What I have done lately, though, and where I've put my energy is actually going through because I've cracked tons of stuff around here. But I've taken all of the alternate art cards or the foil cards that I've
Mhm.
had for setting around doing nothing and actually starting to separate those. And now I'm going back and foiling out my previous commander decks.
See that
Finding those.
that's cool. I actually just traded with a guy. He wanted to defoil some of the cards in his commander decks
Nice.
because he doesn't like foils. So
Okay.
he actually traded me a bunch of foils for a bunch of non-foils,
Nice.
which was pretty cool. And then I tossed in a couple extra things because it was just it was funny that he wanted to trade that way. But yeah, no, I understand that. I have a ton of foils that I have sorted by color, not anything from the most recent sets.
Mhm.
I'm only partially sorted, but
Mhm.
they're all sorted by color. I do have to go through and sort them all by like type, cost, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it's not a bad idea, and I like that idea you're having because I should do that to my decks because I probably have foils of all of the cards in those decks.
Well, even with the updated art and stuff, in
Yeah,
some cases they're going to be the things that everybody else has seen. But I've got a lot of stuff from Thunder Junction recently,
yeah,
and
one of my
much.
favorite sets.
I'm such a sucker for westerns. So
Yeah. For me, it is I bought a lot and I'm still planning on buying more. Uh Wilds of Eldraine. That was
oh,
my set. And
yeah,
I'm a Disney adult. I've never been to Disney, but I'm a huge love Disney movies. Like I pay
uh,
for Disney Plus and I don't have kids. I want to watch my Disney. Leave me
that's
alone.
okay.
Um but so like the Wilds of Eldraine, just like I know people crap all over the anime arts. I'm sorry, I like it. They're different. I
Yeah,
like the different artworks. I like the selection. Plus, that set's still retaining value no matter what you're pulling out of the set.
yeah,
I haven't lost money on one of those boxes yet, knock on wood, because I guarantee
nice.
I'm going to now. Um, but it's just, going through, and that's the thing. Yes, we're getting so much product, but we're getting options for artwork. And I'm sorry, I want to make my deck represent me. And
Yes.
now we have enough cards where I can be like, oh, I don't really like this art. I'm going to change it for this one because this fits the theme of the
This
deck
is
better.
better for sure.
Or, yeah. And, that's another way we can look at all of the product releases. Not only is it bringing down prices, but it's giving us new artworks.
Right. Right. So I can see we've been in here already 20 minutes or so, and I
Holy.
don't want to go too long. But most importantly, I want to give you a chance to actually talk about what deck were you excited about?
Oh, so out of all of the sets we actually got recently for new cards that I was excited about was actually, and I have them. It's Hope.
Ah,
I don't know how to say Hope's second. It's like, yeah, don't know. I'm not gonna bother trying.
that's all
Um,
right.
but I bought. I even right before the price spiked, it was awesome. I bought the Surge foil of Hope.
Nice.
And then it went up to $100 now. I think it settled around like 40 to 60, and I think I paid 20 for it. So I'm
Nice.
happy. I
Yeah.
was lucky, but I was really happy with that. Well, the card itself made me see something I haven't seen. I love Mill. I have a
Mhm.
60 card kitchen table Mill deck, but I've never built Mill in Commander because I know the stigma around it.
Yes.
I see the faces every time somebody pulls out a mill deck. They're like, and I'm like, okay, I'll play Windgrace or zombies. We good. So I built Hope, and Hope basically says, for those who don't know, at the beginning of your end step, each opponent mills X cards, where X is the um, total amount of life you've gained that turn, the amount of life you've gained that turn. Hope is a 2/2 for 2, also has lifelink. So, yes, so turn 3, I'm swinging. But the deck is all white weenies. It is all life gain. I think I maybe have 4 or 5 blue cards in the deck, but it's all white life gain. I don't have a single thing of mill in the deck except for Hope, because all I'm doing is gaining life.
Right.
And it's tokens, so it's a lot of low cost tokens, and everything like that. And I was excited about the deck because I'm like, I can finally play mill and not mill people. It's not my fault the deck's milling. I gain life, and then Hope's like, you guys got a mill.
It just happened. I don't know.
And yeah, and the first game I played, I lost Hope within the first, I think it was the first, I don't know, 2 or 3, probably 3 turns of the game,
Mhm.
3 or 4, got imprisoned in the moon, and
Oh,
that's when I realized I'm not running enough removal. Um,
little enchantment
Hope,
removal will be good for sure.
yep.
Yeah.
And I have the deck sitting next to me, and I'm like, I need to go through that this weekend. But I ended up just being able to gain enough life not to die just with everything, and then it's pillow 40. I did go with the I just posted it the other day, now I can't think of it. Enchantment 5 cost, creatures can't attack you, and sphere of safety.
Spirit safety. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Sorry. I had to
Yep.
start talking about it, and then it came to me. Like I run Sphere of Safety, Ghostly Prison, and the creature that does it, the Angel. I
Oh,
think
right.
it's an Angel.
Yeah.
And then I also run the there's the blue one that I can't think of.
Propaganda.
Yes,
Yeah.
propaganda. And propaganda's in there. And so it just becomes at that point, I'm just going to gain a ton of life. Nobody's swinging at me. And yeah, it was crazy because I ended up taking out 2 of the players, or one of the players, the person who ended up finishing second, took out the other player, which then removed Hope back onto the battlefield.
Oh.
And then my following turn, I was able to gain 54 life
Oh my
off
gosh.
from just casting. I think it was because I had anointed procession
Oh,
out.
okay. Yeah.
I think I cast a couple creatures and got a couple tokens, and then it all just doubled and doubled because I had multiple things that would, or I had things that multiplied the amount of life I gained by
Right.
2.
Right.
And I ended up gaining exactly 54 life that turn, and the guy had exactly 54 cards in his deck. So I would have lost if it wasn't for that.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, but I milled him out, gained 54 life. He lost 54 life. And it's just, honestly, it's been the funnest thing building Hope, because I didn't see Hope in the spoilers. I
Right.
saw Hope while I was opening the products. And I was like,
That,
this card is so cool. And the
that
more and more I opened it, I pulled it a couple of times, and I'm like, all right, it's a sign. I gotta build them. And
that's the best, when inspiration comes at times
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
and I have to contribute that to not paying attention 100% to spoilers. Pay attention to what people send you and the little bit that you look at, but don't like dive into it.
Right. Right.
And I think that's why I sat down and built Hope in one day, which is crazy because I haven't done that in forever. But I'm like, ooh, I got a stream tomorrow. Let me see if I can build Hope. I built Hope, finished it the morning before the stream. The stream was at noon. I think I literally finished it half an hour before, was able to double sleeve the deck and everything, or right, like I was still sleeving as we were getting ready. So
Nice.
it is the one thing that I actually have been overly excited about for Magic. And
That is
yeah,
awesome. What I
yeah,
truly appreciate about this is I just recorded the other night with Mild Mannered Mage,
yeah.
and we ended our discussion, or close to the end of the discussion, with him talking about his love of mill also.
Yes, I with my 60 card mill deck, I was most games I was milling out. If it was one-on-one, we would play 4-player occasionally, and it was not good in that scenario. But one-on-one, I could typically mill him out by turn 4 or 5.
Wow.
And this is back then before I actually knew how to build a deck. We went little tangent. He taught me how to build decks, the rule of 20. So
Uh-huh.
20 creatures, 20 lands, 20 total of everything else
Right. Right.
to make the 60 card deck. Now, we didn't play a lot of interaction or anything. Commander introduced me to that. But
Hmm.
so we were just building giant boards and nobody was dealing with anything. And mill was one of those ways where I didn't care how big your board was. I was still winning.
I was still gonna
Like
get nice.
I was gonna get you, and then we just didn't know either at the time that if you forced the person to draw, they still lost. So we didn't play by that rule because
Okay.
we didn't know. But if we would have known, I would have won so many more games. Yeah, it would have
Well,
been incredible.
there's a
But yeah,
whole series of people out there I know that are just cursing both of us, all three of
oh,
us,
I know. Oh,
probably. And
100% there
I
is.
understand the hate for it, but sometimes the best way to deal with somebody's cards is not to allow them to play it.
Yep. Well, so the way I got over my hatred for Mill is my old LGS owner. And I say old because unfortunately that shop closed, not to financial reasons or anything. Just
Mhm.
long story short, he literally said to me he just wanted health insurance.
Okay.
But he said to me, you should never be bummed out about what you mill because you hadn't drawn that card yet. What's to say you would have ever drawn that card anyway?
Okay.
And looking at it, you're right. Your entire deck, I mean, you don't know what's on the top of your deck. That card that you just milled could have been at the bottom of your deck anyway. So just pretend it was at the bottom of your deck. And
I'm going to bring up the fact that my wife would probably argue that fact. We have this discussion often because she's like, "What the next card?" But you don't know. But it's the next card. But the other thing is the fact that when it comes down to it, like I said, all these strategies are valid. They printed the
yeah.
cards that do that stuff. My way of handling mill is Gaia's Blessing.
Oh, see, I was gonna say, Wheel of Sun and Moon.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Yep, because that's one of my favorite enchantments. Because my buddy bought me that when we were playing 60 card, and sure as shit, I put that in my deck. And every time he whipped out his mill deck, I'm like, "Let's go!"
Boom. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yes.
Well, before we go on much longer, I'm going to have to cut it here. I'm going to say thank
Yeah.
you very much for joining me. Hopefully, you can join me, and maybe we'll do a deck tech on your deck. Maybe there'll be some all stars in there.
That would be awesome.
Awesome.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I'm going to say thanks again, and thanks to all of you that stuck around here to the end, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah. Bye.